what love is, love, even though the person have their faults and everything else that goes with it, love help you to deal with the experience. You know that. Experience, you know that. At some point, you have to discipline your children because out of love. And my parents would say, I discipline you because I love you. And I'm like, no, you don't love because you're disciplining me. But what I'm saying, Sheldon and Sancia, love is not blind. It opens your eyes to the fault of the person that you're going to marry to. But because you love that person, you will help them through their shortcomings. You will understand their shortcomings. You won't give up at the first hurdle and decided that you're going to run away from the relationship because of what just happens. No. Another thing that love is forgiving. And most of you will be sitting there thinking, really? Yes. Love is forgiving. Because if you don't love the person that you're with, you will never be able to forgive them for things that they will do. And I want to say to both of you that you're thinking, Sheldon? There are things about Sheldon that you don't really know yet. And there are things about Sancia that you don't really know yet until there's see me and live with me is two different things. And so when you're in that relationship, you have to be able to forgive the person for things that they will say or do that is going to shock you even after you're married for 10 years. So love is forgiving. But if you don't love that person, when that person makes that mistake, you will never forgive. So you have to decide from here on out that whatever Sancia do, you will forgive. And whatever Sheldon do, you will forgive him because you love him. Away from the relationship because of what just happens. Because he loves us. Another thing that love is forgiving. And he died to save us, even in spite of who we are. And most of us sitting here are not perfect. I'm not perfect. Most of you will be sitting there thinking, but God still loves me in my imperfection. Love is forgiving. I'm saying that you still because if you don't love the person that you're with, you will never be able to forgive them for things that they will do. And I want to say to both of you that both, you're thinking, Sheldon, that you don't really know yet. And there are things about Sancia that you don't really know yet until there's a, see me and live with me. It's two different things. Love is understanding. And so when you're in that relationship, you have to be able to forgive the person for things that they will say or do that is going to. And that's what love is. It's understanding the person next to you, understanding what they're even after you're married for 10 years, understanding what they're trying to say to you. So love is forgiving. Most of us at times don't understand each other. But if you don't love that person, when that person makes that mistake, you will never forgive. So you have to decide from here on out that whatever Sancia do, you will forgive. And whatever Sheldon do, you will forgive him because I am away from the relationship because of what just happened. Because he loves us. Another thing that love is kind. But if you don't love that person, when that person makes that mistake, you will never forgive. So you have to decide from here on out that whatever Sancia do, you will forgive. And whatever Sheldon do, you will forgive him because I am away from the relationship because of what just happened. No. Another thing that love is I'm going to love you today. But if you don't love that person, when that person makes that mistake, you will never forgive. So you have to decide from here on out that whatever Sancia do, you will forgive. And whatever Sheldon do, you will forgive him because I am away from the relationship because of what just happened. No. Another thing that love is it is not something. But if you don't love that person, when that person makes that mistake, you will never forgive. So you have to decide from here on out that whatever Sancia do, you will forgive. But to understand when you will forgive him because I am away from the relationship because of what just happened. No. But I won't do that because it's already it is not something. But if you don't love that person, when that person makes that mistake, First Corinthians goes deeper than so you have to decide from here on out whatever Sancia do, you will forgive. But to understand when I am away from the relationship because of what just happened. To celebrate it, but I won't motivate because it's but after today, it is not free. But if you don't
love that person that makes that mistake.
And you start having children who goes more deep. And you start having children. Love. And when they start to give problems and you know, both of you are arguing one or something, just remember to celebrate the joyful moment that you decided to love each other to the end. The storms, and there will be storms. There will be storms, but weather the storms with each other. But before you can weather the storm with each other, God instituted all of this. It started way back in Genesis chapter 3 when God 2. When God decided that the marriage ceremony. It started way back then. And to understand that, you must understand that the love that God has instituted all the love that God has for both of you goes far deeper. It started way back in Genesis chapter that any man could ever have for each other. The Bible said God loves us so much so that he gave his only begotten son. Chapter 3, when God believes in him should not perish. When God decided that and that's the kind of love you need to have. The love that God has for that's both the kind of love. It started way back in Genesis chapter that any man could ever have for each other. God redeemed us. The Bible said God loves us so much so that he gave his only begotten son. Chapter 3, when God believes in him should not perish. When God decided that so I want to say to both of you, this is not going to be a long one. See somebody falling asleep. And that is not what got bored. The love that God has for that's both the kind of love. It started. I want to say that any man could ever have for each other. God redeemed us. The Bible said God loves us so much so that he gave his only begotten son. Chapter 3, when God believes in him, when God made sunshine and rain. You will have 7 years, but you will also have some heartaches and some pain, some disagreements. But to weather those, that's weathering it. I want to say that not by yourself, but with God. God redeemed us. The Bible said God loves us so much so that he gave his only begotten son. Chapter 3, when God believes and strengthen you. It will be only God that will be able to walk you through your dark moments. So as you take this journey, Sheldon and Sancia, walk with God. Don't God because the Bible said God loves you so much that he gave his only begotten son. Chapter 3, when God ordained it so that both of you should be here celebrating today. And probably Sheldon looking at her and saying, was it God? Strengthen you. It will be only God that will be able to, but I'm saying, it's probably God who ordained it for both of you to use. And today you are here celebrating your God. Don't God because the Bible said God loves you so that make sure that chapter 3 when everything that you do, every decision that you make here celebrating make sure that God is first. Probably Sheldon looking at her and saying, and when you put God first, I guarantee you that your marriage will last for a good 25 years. So my prayer for both of you today, and today that you allow the God of heaven, don't walk on the Bible said God loves you not just for today, because we are here celebrating and just call on his name for today, but for the rest that you make here celebrating today, that God is first. Probably Sheldon looking at her and saying, and at the end of it, I guarantee you'll be able to stay the course. You'll be able to walk the road, and you'll be able to walk the way that he wants you to. So may the Lord bless both of you and keep you as you take this journey together. Call on his name for today. For them as they hold hands. them as they hold hands.
When I first met you, I didn't quite know what to expect. Needless to say, I wasn't looking for anything at all, but as we stood in that hall, talking for a long, long time while the world passed us by, I quickly started to realize that you had something special. Something
Them as they hold hands.
person I have ever met or ever been with. When I first met you,
ever possessed.
I didn't quite know what to
Possess
expect.
qualities that most women these days
Needless to
will
say,
settle
I wasn't looking for anything at all, but as we stood in that hall,
for than I had ever
talking
expected.
for a long, long time while the world passed us by,
You are a woman.
I quickly started to realize that you had
You are
something